Hey, Jersey Devil 1976 here. Going to do a quick tutorial. And this was on the request of Commsnake, who I built that zombie Necron for. He was curious on how I did the shoulder joints for repositioning the arm. So I thought I would just quickly show you how I did that. And it was all done by hand. And I just use a piece of styrene rod. This is about a 1/16 inch diameter. It's a little bit bigger than what you actually need for that shoulder joint, but that's okay because you're going to be filing this down quite a bit. So once you're all done, it should fit in there nice and snug. All I'm going to need a couple tools, x-acto knife, and a couple metal files, or you can use like a sanding block. I just use a flat one and then a round one. So to start, basically what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and round off this edge right here, and this will be for to go into the actual shoulder. So you want it in there nice and rounded off so that you can swivel it around and position it however you want. So you're just going to, I usually just start off with like a 45-degree angle all the way around the top of it there. And just kind of work it until it kind of gives you that nice round shape there. It took me a while to kind of do this. I actually did this quite a bit for my Necron army. I did a few years back. It's kind of trial and error because I was doing a lot of conversions before the all plastic kits came out. Everything was somewhat plastic, like your warriors and your destroyers, and I think that's about it. Everything else was metal at the time and fairly expensive. So what I did was pretty much convert all my stuff out of warriors. So I made all my flayed ones out of warriors. I made all my immortals and even my race out of Necron warriors. Okay, so there you go. It's all filed down and rounded off. You see that fits in there pretty nice right now. Now the next part you want to do is you want to kind of create that indentation that's right there on the Necron shoulder joint. I wish I had a Necron arm to show you, but I don't have any more right now. Let me grab one of my so here's the part right here that we just did, and now we want to make this little indentation here in between the two little ball joints there. So what you're going to do is take your round file and you're going to come down just a little bit. It's kind of hard to do at this angle. Just kind of eyeball it, maybe about a 1/16 of an inch down. You're just going to want to work it just a little bit till you get yourself a nice little groove going, and then just rotate the rod in your hand until you kind of create that rounded look. Now you can do it just a little bit or a lot, depending on how elongated you want the shoulder joint to look. If you've seen the video of Commsnake zombie, they were quite long because with the legs straightened out, the arms looked kind of squatty, so I wanted them to look a little bit longer to kind of help match up. but I'm not going to go too much on these. And if you find that you kind of go down a little bit too far, you can always just take a little bit of material off the top. Okay, so there you go. So now you got this little indentation right here. And I could probably take a little bit off the top of this. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. Fit it in there, you see it fits just fine. So now all you have to do is create that second little rounded off end, and this is where the arm will connect. So again, just take your round file and you're going to come down just a little bit, probably about another 1/16 of an inch or so, and you're just going to work it back and forth just a little bit, just till you get a little bit of a groove going all the way around, and then you can go back and really define it a little bit more. Oops. All right. Okay, so there you got this part right here. Now what you want to do is you're going to come back with your X-acto knife, and you're just going to just kind of roll that blade across it, and you're going to just take it off right there, and then you just come back with your flat file again. Actually, I could probably chop off a little bit more of that material. And then just take your flat file or sanding block and just round out that top. This part's a little bit difficult because it's a pretty small part that you got to hold. That's why it's so much easier to do all this on the on a big piece like this, so you can actually just hold it. This is just a little bit more difficult part, but it looks really good, and helps give you a lot more options when trying to pose your Necron warriors or whatever else you got going. I haven't messed with any of the new kits, but I'm pretty sure you could do the same thing for all of them as well. This is pretty rough looking too. I usually take a little bit more time, but I don't even know if I can hold this to show y'all. I'm going to try not to stab myself here. Okay, so there is your new shoulder joint. And it will go in there like so. Now what you're going to want to do with the Necron arm is cut off that shoulder joint that's there, and get yourself like a 1/16 inch drill bit, and just kind of just hollow out the top of that arm just a little bit so that it fits on top of this, and then you can position that arm however you want. Like I said, I didn't have any loose arms to show you, but that's the general idea. And I'll show you Like this is one of my flayed ones, and you can see that this is the shoulder joint I redid right here, and I just hollowed out the top part of this arm so that it fit right onto that shoulder joint perfectly. And this one is a non-modified arm. So as you can see, you can barely even really tell the difference between them once it's all painted up. And then here's one of my race that I did. So as you can see, he's got a really long arm. That's because I extended it. I cut the arm in half right here, put some styrene in there, and also on the forearm. But also, it's kind of hard to see, on the shoulder joint right here that I redid, I made it a little bit longer. Go check out Commsnake's zombie video, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about a little bit better, because it's, you know, the bright white styrene against the gray plastic. It's a little bit easier to see. And I'll put a link for that in there. So just easy tip just to make new shoulder joints for Necrons. And if you ever, if this thing ever looks a little bit too long, like I said, you can always just go back and just take a little bit off the top of either side until it looks good. But it's been a while since I've done this, but I did quite a few of them. I have quite a few flayed ones and race that I had to redo all the shoulder joints for, so I was kind of making them a whole lot, so I was a little bit better at it then, but I haven't done it in a few years. So there it is. Pretty simple, and once, like I said, once it's all painted up, it looks, it blends in very well, and you can't even tell. So, and you can take this and, you know, position this however you want. Make him like having his arm raised or something like that, or just have him hanging down low, or like he's dragging him. So there you go, Commsnake. And if you have any more questions or comments, just let me know. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks, everyone.